What is up, guys, and welcome to episode 6 of the Nexus podcast. We have some guests today because our Emmy and Kieran are currently traveling. Say hello to Aaron and Alex. How you doing, guys?
Hello.
These
Not
guys
bad.
are
Not
these guys are
bad.
fresh from the grand opening, so we're
I
gonna do.
wouldn't say fresh. I had a very. It took me because of train delays yesterday. I spent the night in the airport after the tournament,
As you do.
and it took me 5 hours to get from Gatwick to where I live, which is usually a 2-hour journey. So anything but fresh. But we move.
But yeah, Alex had a pretty good showing. He got in the top 8 at the weekend, so congratulations, bud. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's good. Wasn't expecting so much yellow. Thought we were being big brain picking yellow, and then we turned up and everyone was playing yellow. So it's kind of bittersweet in a way, because it's like you've come to the same conclusions as other top players. It's like yellow's the play for this tournament, but like, yeah, I wasn't really prepared for the mirror. So,
Yeah,
but it was a good event. It was good.
And Harry, you didn't go, but you're looking handsome as always. How you doing, my friend?
Thank you. I'm not feeling very handsome. I'm still knackered, but yeah, exciting weekend. The resurgence of yellow, and yeah, excited to break it down with the boys.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, thanks to you two for stepping in at late notice. We really appreciate you coming in, and yeah, it would be great to get some insights. So let's talk about the tournament then. So Aaron, if you want to just talk about your run and like you weren't too happy with your deck choice, were you, for this event?
So I basically played the same deck as I played at the Pro Tour. I think the thing I do best in this game is convince people to play bad Valkyrie decks, and they just printed another one in set 3, and I was like, okay, let's play all 8 of them.
Is that Hilda, right?
Yeah, so you play Valkyrie, you play Hilda. Basically, you can bounce everything that is.
For those who don't know, Hilda's basically can bounce anything rather than just 7 or less. So it's more degeneracy to the white aggro strategy.
So basically, I thought going into this tournament that Gale was the boogeyman, because it has the most ridiculous. You know, I think it has the highest ceiling of any deck in the format. So I was like, oh, everybody will want to try it. So I chose my deck just to be the same for that. I think the Gale matchup's really good. And yeah, I played against yellow 3 times. Someone here I played. So I got to play Alex, I think it was round 4. So not only was it a rematch from the last round of the Pro Tour, it was also, he beat me with my own card, because I lent him some Jewel Eagles, and he killed me with a Jewel Eagle. So that was, you know,
rough.
And all I borrowed off him was Sheriff Eagles, which I later read, it's not an axe biter, it's a lot worse. So
I mean, Eagles for Eagles, that's a pretty fair trade.
Yeah, but I think one of them was better suited for the week. But no, it was
yeah.
A
So we actually
tournament.
got you both on today to fight. So no, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I can't wait. But no, it was a decent tournament. I think everybody cracked. Well, the big teams cracked the yellow deck. I think.
What was your run like then? To quickly fire through your matchups for us.
Yeah. So round 1, I played Gale, like full power Gale, and it was really easy, really nice opponent. But just bounce. Just a Valkyrie Mist into a Valkyrie Hilda, into a Thorn Prison. It just.
It's a bad day in the office.
The green, yeah. Like, so game 1, my opponent has double Highlands, goes double Tokiwa Feng Huang.
Oh yeah,
and
perfect play.
I kill through that. Like,
You were ready.
At that moment, I felt bulletproof.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Round two, I played one of the players at the Pro Tour last week who did really well on Elephant. He was playing Gale, but it was a more mid-rangey version. I lost. Sadly, I made some greedy plays. It wasn't the wrong play, but it was just I went for it and they had the answer.
You got to try, right?
Round three. So I was 1-1. Round three, I can't remember actually.
Probably yellow.
Oh no, round three, I beat yellow.
How did it feel? Because generally, I mean, I know you've played white quite a lot, but you're known for playing yellow previously. Did it feel weird that you were suddenly in a field full of a deck that you don't have any faith in?
Well, it was quite funny that I played yellow every tournament, every event from launch event up until the Pro Tour, the first Pro Tour. I even call myself online like the Hippocampo. Like I was saying Phantasmal Paradise was good when people were like, and then Pro Tour was, I think an epiphany, and then I was like, I need a change in decks. And then I played Valkyrie Mist. That's my favorite card. Hippocampo is second. But yeah, it's nice seeing a deck get its time in the sun. I think the problem is it going to last, or was it just a one event thing? Well, 2 event thing, because Longdale won the Pro Tour on yellow.
It's Hippocampo at the Pro Tour, Aaron, was to restore your shattered soul. We're on our Kingdom Hearts.
I think yellow, if anything, yellow's definitely proves that it can hang. Even as it won the Pro Tour, which no one even clocked that really, and then it went and dominated the next event. It's definitely moving forward. I think it's definitely got more tools to hang in the meta, but.
It's comparable to aggro white in terms of you always need to keep an eye on it, I think. And over the past couple tournaments, certainly, like I say this being guilty of it myself and being like, well, no one's going to play Fable Beast yellow, so we don't need to test against it as much. We don't need side deck cards for it as much, when obviously in hindsight that might have been quite helpful.
Yeah.
I think it's on everyone's radar now, for sure.
Yeah, 100%. So that was your third round, Aaron. You said you beat it. Was it just a standard Fable Beast, or?
Yeah. He kind of just never really got running. It's just the bouncers again.
Yeah. You just
and then I played Alex, and I learned how bad the matchup actually is. So one thing, the white aggro deck always struggles with card draw. So, I think not only the power of Blessed and some of the cards we'll talk about later, the best thing about the Fabled Beast deck is just the player agency it gives. I think it's why people like Netherworld Depths and sort of those sort of strategies. If you have more cards in your hand, or you see more cards in your deck, you sort of have more decision paths, more avenues to think about how you play your turn. If you're playing something like white aggro, for instance, you aren't given such choices. Your lines are often predetermined, but you have to play so tight that like small mistakes are really punishable. Whereas with yellow,
do you think that's what the appeal is for you? That it's kind of like a bit of an adrenaline rush almost, where you're like, do you have an answer? And if you don't, you're dead. So I mean, the amount of times I've seen you where you're just like, I'd be playing a game and it'd be 10 minutes in, and you'll just be walking around looking at people's games. I'm like, was he on the buy? And then you'll just see some other player that's just walking out of the venue, just like needing fresh air because he just got killed in 3 turns, like over 2 games.
It's the surprise. I think it's the surprise factor.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are very few decks in the game that can kind of win out of nowhere. Either they don't play the units to do the spirits to do so, or they will focus more on building a board with nexuses and stuff. The most exciting thing in this game is the card advantage you get if your opponent's at 0 life. It's like, oh look, I drew all of these cards. It's like, okay, game 2. You know, like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if they're at 0, and that's not just Battle Spirits, but like other card games. I love aggressive decks.
Yeah, that's fair
and
enough.
Yeah.
So that put you at 2-2. It was only 6 rounds for the day because it was 52 players, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah, I think 51. I think there was a bye. It might have been 51 or 53.
50. Okay. So what was your 5th round?
Round 5, I played against Gale again, but the opponent was better prepared for the aggressive decks, so he had more interaction basically.
Okay.
He was playing Dream Bombs, which was the card that killed me. So I topped it. I had a Derm Diner. He was at 1, and I was like, haha, Thorn Prison this, and he was like Dream Bomb, and my jaw like hit the floor.
Yeah, it's one of those. Well, what can you do?
I had 2 Hildas in hand, and I was like, did I make the greedy play? But I only had 9 cores, so I couldn't have made. Either way, the Dream Bomb would have killed me. But if I had 2 more cores, so that was like. And then the last round.
This was your redemption round to get top 32, I guess.
Well, if one brother isn't enough on Fabled Beasts, I only went and played the other one. So I played Alex's brother, Thomas, and
fair play.
Yeah, game 1 really didn't just couldn't get out the gates. I got quite lucky. And then game 2, he kept a hand where he just drew into his top end. Like he drew into like Raphael's and stuff, but nothing to sort of gain in the early game.
Yeah,
so
get that early push.
I finished 3-3. I think my deck was a poor. Seeing everyone bring yellow, it was a poor choice. But at the same time,
did you have a little bit of fun playing at least? Like
I love playing white aggro, and to be honest, I think unless something changes about the format, I know we don't have any more card additions, but there might be card restrictions. Not that I think there should be any, but if there are, this is probably the deck I play.
If there was one restriction, what would it be? What would you want, just off the top of your head?
See, I don't think there should be any.
Yeah.
Like, that's my actual answer.
Okay, well, that's a fair answer. I can accept
but
that.
They might choose. I think if they choose something, they might put Phantasmal Paradise to 1. That's
you're crazy. There's too many answers. There's too many answers for it. They wouldn't do it.
But listen. I'm not. This is not me saying, "Hey, ban Phantasmal Paradise." This is me saying,
you heard it first. That's gonna be the thumbnail. Should we ban Phantasmal Paradise?
Highlands or Paradise?
No, just Paradise.
There are certain cards in the game that have such a high ceiling as card pool increases, and Phantasmal Paradise is one of them.
Yeah, for
sure. Also some of the 2-drop ones, like Freeze Tile. The more 2-drops in the game. This isn't to say that they're bannable cards. It's more a case of these cards.
I think on that subject. On that subject, it's I feel like the new set is really, really good. Like it's like there's a lot to discover, and I think it's gonna. We've got 3 months until set 4 comes out. And I think the meta is actually going to evolve over those 3 months. It kind of did with set 2 in a way, but I mean, it's kind of like people countering for what they think is going to be popular, right? So, but I just think there's a lot of room for creativity, and the new set is definitely better than set 2 as far as impact on making the game a bit more interesting and varied. But yeah, so in conclusion, how did you feel about your result? You ended up in, what were you, like 24th or something? I can't remember exactly.
So I finished 27th. I got blessed, no pun intended, but I got blessed with Alex's breakers as he put in a run to top 8.
Yep.
And then we had Korean barbecue afterwards.
Ooh,
so
that looked really delicious.
I may have eaten a bit, being in the airport.
Was it all you can eat, or?
Yeah,
wow.
Which
nice. Well, you can't ever eat too much and all you can eat. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I mean,
unless they shut the restaurant, like
the
Simpsons
meat
stuff.
sweats I was facing at the airport would beg to differ.
I saw Tea Time Gaming actually put up some social media posts like tagging you about how good it was, so that did look really nice.
Like he's a good man and he knows good food. That's all I'll say.
But yeah, no, thank you very much, Aaron, for your report there. So Alex, like you said, you had a really good run. You went deep into Top Cut. So yeah, do you want to take us through your matchups starting from round 1?
Yeah, I will. I'll just quickly go over what I was playing. So I mentioned it earlier. Sure. I was playing yellow Fabled Beasts.
We can maybe do like a deck profile at some point as well, so we can show everyone exactly what you were playing. Well, no, we can actually look that up in a bit. Actually,
yeah. I mean, the lists are all on Limitless and BSSDB. Exactly. Like they've already uploaded all the lists there, so you can see it. But yeah, everyone was playing yellow. My list was a bit different because there were 12 2-drops in the list, and we were playing Royal Potion at 2 copies. And
if you don't know what Royal Potion does, guys, it restands all the 2 costs on the field, and it's 5 costs free reduction, I believe.
That's the one, yeah. So I don't know if Royal Potion has topped before, but this might be the first Royal Potion top. But that was literally as a Gale counter. It's like they Thorn Prison, you're like Royal Potion. It works like offensively and defensively. It's like sometimes you need to push for that Ice Shield and they Thorn Prison and you Royal Potion and then you just get their Ice Shield. Or it's like if they're attacking with the Void Lord and you don't have a blocker because they've exhausted your board, you can just Royal Potion block and then God Slaying sometimes as well, and it's just like they didn't see it coming.
It's an interesting tech, really. It's like a basically like you say, it's like a counter effort for Thorn Prison, and in reality it's maybe even more efficient for just because it's on color. So
yeah, it was really good. Green, what am I saying? But yeah, one of the reasons why is I was expecting a lot more Seabed Lighthouse, which for those who don't know stops you using magics in the attack step if you don't have that color symbol on your board. So I was like, Royal Potion is a yellow magic, so I can use this against Gale instead of just dying. But yeah, I'll go through.
It's interesting. Would you say Royal Potion was probably like one of your MVP techs of the day then? Sounds like
in the Gale matchup specifically, yes.
Yeah. So did you find a lot of people running Thorn Prison off color because obviously that's been a popular card in the format lately?
Everyone's playing Thorn Prison at 3 or 4 copies. I think all the lists in top 8 had at least 3 Thorn Prison in, and they probably should be on 4 just because the card is so insane for tempo. Yeah, because you can use it, stop your Ice Shield getting popped, and then you can hit them on the crackback because you've exhausted 2 of their attackers.
I mean, absolutely. Yeah, I was playing a green aggro just because of how good Thorn Prison was and how deadly it was with being able to swing in and then let them swing and then just rest their boards, and crack back constantly. It was just a really, really fun strategy as well. But the fact that it is so strong. I mean, Aaron was using it in his white aggro deck as well, as standard. So.
Yeah. The card is nuts. Yeah. So matchup wise, round 1 was Gale, which I was obviously happy to see as the deck was built to beat that.
Did it go as to plan?
As expected. So really blessed more than anything is the killer in the matchup, because you can get your life total up to the point where you don't need to block their Gale guys. So you can save all your blockers for the Void Lord. It's like they attack with Jaeger, and you're like, I don't need to block this because I'm at 7 life. So you take the life, and they hit with Tokiwa, you take the life, they hit with Jaeger.
It's essentially pseudo ramping, isn't it, at that point?
Pretty much. Yeah. And it's like, you're not pressured into blocking and letting them use Gale, so you always have a blocker for the Void Lord. And that's the killer, because it does 2 damage, bounces one of your guys, restands. But I just always have a blocker for the Void Lord. So yeah, Gale, round 1, easy matchup. Genbu as well is crazy in Fabled Beasts, which is I think one of the reasons why so many people brought yellow.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely get to Genbu soon when we're doing a tier list. We'll start with Genbu, and you can give us a massive lowdown on the card and how you approach the use of it. So.
So round 2, I hit the mirror against Ryan Matas, a really good player from America, I think. They're playing Feral Slash, and I think both games. I think game 1 they found Paradise and I didn't, and they just sort of ran away with it due to card advantage. And game 2, I think we both found Paradise, and my Nexus was destroyed with Feral Slash. I didn't side anything for the mirror. In hindsight, for Feral Slash, which is what the top deck did side, would have been really good in the mirror specifically.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can pop a small guy and hit those Nexuses. If you lose too many Nexuses too early, it can really stifle momentum for you. So
the mirror more than anything is about who sticks Paradise, who gets the card draw. It's kind of like
who gets it first kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, like I've been playing yellow a while, like Aaron as well, and it's always been that way. It's literally whoever starts getting the draws in first, essentially.
Yeah. So I think that was the only game I lost where I drew Paradise, like turn 1. It's like if you draw turn 1 Paradise and they don't deal with it, you just run away with the game. You get so much card advantage. Anyway, round 3 I was against Julia, who was also on Gale. So Gale matchup as expected, just blessed early, and then just ran away with the game with Genbu. They can't close it out. Round 4 against Aaron. Aaron on the
Ozo bracket.
The white tempo, white aggro. I call it white tempo more than white aggro, but
call it Harry Stepson.
Yeah, Harry Stepson.
Harry's stolen goods.
We'll get to that debate later.
Sorry to interrupt, but one funny thing is bssdb.dev published the lists.
Oh yeah.
And so they name all of the archetypes. So Kieran, usual member of the podcast, he's my guinea pig for playing random white aggro lists. So they published the list today, and he got 17th. So obviously he was quite far up. And they called our deck Dual Gun Android Control, which
Dual Gun Android Control.
Yeah. I was like,
that sounds like a card from set 4. Like.
Yeah, like I was flattered, but at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it should just be called Harry Stepson, right? But
no, Harry Stepson was Pro Tour. This one, that's probably why I didn't do so well at this tournament. Harry didn't give me half a deck list. Because you had too much.
Yeah, you didn't give it enough of Harry.
Yeah, I had to do too much thinking for myself. Alex's deck, just as a quick thing, Alex's deck is called 2-Drop Genbu.
2-Drop Genbu.
2-Drop Genbu.
Yeah.
It should be called Royal Potion Genbu.
That's closer than Dual Gun Android Control, like a Dragon Ball Super Arc or something.
Okay, my favourite one. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Go too far on tangent. Amamir got top 16. Captain Planet is the deck.
Captain Planet. That's, honestly, the creativity is off the scale with these deck names.
I think. Yeah,
I mean, how was the matchup for you, Alex? Because obviously, I think yellow is pretty much Aaron's worst matchup.
Yes. Well, I think I was the only one who beat Aaron with yellow on the day. Aaron won his 2 other yellow matchups, but game 1 I saw 10-1 Paradise, and obviously card advantage is good. Mm-hmm. Blessed is good in a tempo matchup. It was actually really close. Game 1, I saw Ice Shield, and I don't think Aaron did. He had a set Star Blast draw, and it's literally like if he has the Ice Shield and I don't, I'm dead. So that just came down to Ice Shield. Game 2 was funny because I kept a hand with a 2-drop and 2 Freezer Toll, and then I drew my 3rd Freezer Toll. So I think on turn 2 I had 3 Freezer Toll and a 2-drop, and Aaron was just there like, if I attack, he draws 3 cards. And we just sort of stood there looking at each other for a while, until eventually Aaron started attacking, and I just drew loads of cards. And more importantly, in that game, I never had to play a Nexus. I drew into them, but Just to play around Diner.
If you got 3 of those guys in every card,
that's how badly you thrashed him.
That's how bad it was.
Nexus in a Nexus control deck.
So Diner was just completely useless.
Say what you want, but I got my hot dog way quicker after I made him draw 9 cards with 3 stars. Like, you don't understand. Conceding, I thought, he got me with his Genbu, but I was straight in the front of the lunch line. And, I've never felt happier when losing. Yeah, priority.
Okay, so you had 2 more rounds after that. What was your round 5?
Round 5 was the Captain Planet Gale Pile by Amamiya.
Why was it called Captain Planet then? Maybe you can give us some context on that.
I don't know why it's called Captain Planet. I think it's because if you look at the list, it is. I think it is 6 colors. Yes, they're playing 4 different elementals. K, the Void Lords, including the Yellow Void Lord as well.
Wow.
So it's like a Gale pile. It was definitely the scariest Gale deck I played on the day. Mm-hmm. Might just be because I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah, that's always scary in this game for sure.
All these different things. There's like ritual fires coming down. I'm just like, this is pretty scary. But I just turned all my guys sideways. I think. Yeah, that's against Gale specifically. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think game 1 I just saw like 5. I think I drew into 6 2-drops, and I was just playing 2-cost rush, and ran away with that game. And then round 6 was the Yellow Mirror again. Both games I found 3 Paradise, and they found 0.
Wow.
And they were just there.
That's the kind of last round you need when you're going into Top Cut, right?
Yeah.
Did you get deck checked just before that round by any chance?
I actually got deck checked after Aaron's round because there was a judge watching our game, and right after the match, Aaron was like, "Deck check this guy, deck check this guy." I was just like, "What the?"
The previous round, the previous round when I played Yellow, I won in like 12 minutes. And so the same judge was walking past. He was like, I just need to do a deck check. I was like, okay. And then so the same judge came back then. Obviously, he saw us finish. And he was just talking with us like casually. And I was smiling, like, oh, he won. I got to deck check him. And he was like, okay. And I was like, no, I'm not kidding. And then he was like, no, I'll do it. I got the time. And then.
Was it Usman by chance?
No, it wasn't.
Oh,
it wasn't actually.
He deck checked me, Usman. I'll get you next time, Usman. For no reason. I lost my game.
It's the Italian judge. I don't know his name, but it's the Italian judge that we see quite regularly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. I'm so sorry. He knows who we are. I know of him, but it was him. It was a good sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all bent. Anyway,
shout out to all the judge team though, because they do come to all the events and do the judging, and I'm sure they'd prefer to be playing and having a chance at the big
and
ones.
Danilo as well. Like Danilo and team, they've had probably a busy fortnight. They've
absolutely
run not just like they've had Battle Spirits Pro Tour into I think 2 Bandai events over the weekend. So like. It's not an easy job.
Well, it's the end of the season. It's getting towards the end of the season now as well, around Christmas time.
Yeah, and I think you have a lot of eyes on you because we've like the first Pro Tour was in America, so we went, and we were treated really well by Play TCG.
Yeah, it was.
But then you go, like their players got to experience our TOs.
Yeah.
For the first time.
I think it was really. Honestly, Danilo made it a really good time for everyone involved. Like it was very cool.
And
I'm sure that carried over to the next event. He's a very good TO. So, but yeah, no, we so that was your last round of Swiss, Alex. So you finished. Was that 5-1?
5-1 going into Top Cut, and then Sunday's Top Cut. I'm against Alex Blandon, former guest of this podcast.
Shout out, one of our good American friends.
Well known well-known Fabled Beast player Alex Blandin.
Yes. If Gale does not win,
actually, yeah, that's a good point,
Brando.
Alex. How did that Gale deck work out for you that you were going to play?
Wait, he didn't play the Gale.
No, he was playing Fabled Beast.
Wow.
He played the deck that
Yeah,
Gale.
so
It was all a ruse.
What
It was all a ruse.
yeah, he came on our podcast, told everyone to play Gale, and then played the hard counter for it.
It was the same with Nova, remember? Why is Nova tier 1 and then he plays some red
Yeah,
Nicholas?
exactly. Yeah, and he was playing Nova. We got him clocked, but Alex, he's accepted the challenge. This is actually a good time to announce it. We have a YouTube tournament coming up, which we'll be filming in December, probably putting out in January, called the Nexus Masters, and it's basically going to be a fun sort of concept where each player will play 3 different decks in a best of 3, and then they have to pick a random deck to play in each game. But yeah, that's going to be an 8-player thing that's coming up soon. Little plug there. But more on that soon. Probably on the next podcast we'll discuss it a bit more. But yeah, thanks for everyone who's watched so far, and it's encouraging us to do more to try and grow this community and get more people involved and to show the game can be fun. You know, that's the whole idea of this tournament anyway. It's not a money tournament, it's more of a be creative and play silly things. So yeah, looking forward to that. But yeah, so Alex, you played Alex Blandon in your top 8 game.
Yes. So yeah, another yellow mirror. One interesting thing about my deck list is Exhaust Nexus is in the side deck, and that's another very good card in the mirror, because double Exhaust Nexus breaks a board, unless you've got Genbu out. I think the one card I had up my sleeve that no one else was playing was the Captain Raphael.
Yep.
Because it is sort of a Genbu counter, because when they take your life, you can make Genbu level 1, which prevents his restand effect. But yeah, game 1, Blandon found Paradise. I didn't find Paradise, and he sort of ran away with it. I was like, I have to win early because he's going to outvalue me. So I was just turning my cards sideways. I think there was one point where if he didn't have a Thorn Prison, I may have just killed him. And then if I had Royal Potion to beat his Thorn Prison, I may have just won, but it didn't work out that way. And then game 2, I sided my Exhaust Nexuses, and he sides in 4 for Ral Slash. Yeah, and I find Paradise in game 2, but it just gets blown up. So yeah, note to self: play for Ral Slash in the side deck if yellow's going to be meta. So
Feral Slash is definitely a podcast favorite for me and Harry and Emmy and Kieran. We all love that card. So yeah. But overall, fantastic showing. 8th place. Are you going to be going to Worlds?
Yes, that's fantastic. The plan.
Yep.
Still need to book it, but hoping to be there.
Yeah, it's gonna be fantastic time, and you did really great. So well done for getting in the top 8 for the boys, and are you going to be at Liverpool as well?
Yes, I'll be at Liverpool.
Awesome.
Probably not playing yellow because now everyone's building decks to beat yellow, but
you can't trust anything people say on this podcast now. Though he'll be playing yellow. Like no, he said he's not.
It was just side out your Nexus hate, please. No, it's fine.
Tournaments are the ones where there's no pressure. Like you've qualified for Worlds already. Have some fun, kick back, relax.
Exactly. Yeah, it's going to be wild.
I will say it here first. Mr. Blandon's words will age like a fine wine come Liverpool.
What was his words?
I think that about Gale being best egg in the format.
Oh right, okay.
You'd love to see it.
I think that Pasadena will be. I think we might see the return of the Pterosaur. I think Gigano Rex is quite a good card into yellow.
Absolutely is, yeah.
You know, so they might be able to dust the copies of that off.
The cycle continues.
I also think that just playing, more interactive decks. I'm always an advocate for interactive decks, because where creature combat is good, formats are good. Mm-hmm. So I quite like this. But I do think come Liverpool, all the decks that will play to beat yellow get absolutely dumpstered by Gale. Because
I mean, you heard it here first, guys. Gale might be the deck to play. I'm just going to sleeve up my yellow deck. Yeah, play Gale, everyone. Play Gale. Yeah.
No, honestly, Gale's scary. The mirror is quite miserable to play.
Yeah.
But the deck against everything else,
I mean, it is
so
amazing.
Fun.
I was playing it for people to test in the week before. I wasn't going, so I just thought I'd play it. And it was ridiculous. Just being able to chain like 5 big guys and just be like, yeah, do you have an answer for my 3 Void Lords, which I paid 4 energy for? It's like so dumb.
The fact that Feng Huang has a text box as long as time, and that card's only at rare is insane.
There isn't actually any art on it. It is just text. Like
that card is ridiculous.
So thanks for all your insight, guys. It's been a real pleasure to have you. We're going to move on to the tier list now because of time constraints. So we're going to do a tier list of the X rares from Aquatic Invaders. Right, so we may as well get started with we'll get started with Genbu, and I think it's safe to say with 6 tops out of 8 we can stick it in the top tier without even discussing why initially. But yeah, Alex,
yes,
tell us
I can
why
shed some insight.
This can be your insight card as you just topped with it. What's so great about this card?
All right, so there's a number of good things about this card. The most obvious thing, number 1, it's a Fabled Beast. So you can draw a card with Paradise, which is great.
Yep.
You want to be doing that every turn. Number 2, it's a finisher for the Fabled Beast deck. So whereas before, you've got Jewel Eagle to stop their level 1s from blocking. Mm-hmm. Your only other finishers outside of that were playing cards like Somersault, which is like a one-time effect. Or there's the 9-drop Fabled Beast, which is also kind of a one-time effect, making their spirits level 1.
Somersault, if you don't know, guys, if you're new to yellow, Somersault means that I think it's any card level 2 or above or it's just level 2s can't block.
I think it's 2 or above.
Yeah. No, it is just 2, I think. Cause
it's just 2?
Yeah, freeze can still block in that instance, I'm pretty sure. Lin makes everything level 1, I believe. Yeah,
for each Fabled Beast you can make one of their spirits level 1.
Yeah, which obviously with Eagle's trigger, with a level 3 effect, all your Fabled Beasts with
all your blessed spirits
become unblockable, essentially, unless they have a level 3 card, which is not likely normally. So
and the other finisher yellow had was the Yellow Void Lord, which when summoned makes everything level 1, and then you play a Jewel Eagle alongside it.
You got the Joker as well, obviously. I don't know if you mentioned
and Joker, but
Joker has been very prominent up until now, pretty much.
Yeah. What makes Genbu so good is every single turn at the start of your attack step, you can choose one of your Fabled Beasts, and it can only be blocked by vanillas. So if they have card text on their cards, they can't block with that card.
Mm-hmm. So that basically guarantees a life every turn, essentially.
Yeah. Unless you're playing vanillas, which obviously most decks aren't. Surprisingly, the Fabled Beast deck does play vanillas, just because you need a high Fabled Beast count. So there's some weird interactions with like Marty Bunny and it was Gem Beast, the 3-drop. Carbuncle, can actually block, but yeah, so that's great. If Genbu just had its first effect, you would still play the card because it's a finisher in yellow. And it only needs 1 core for that. Like you can play it pretty early in the game, 1 core. Your blessed spirits are now hitting their life, and it's effectively a 2-life swing when you're doing a life to them and gaining a life yourself. Mm-hmm. His second effect for 2 cores, level 2 and 3, when one of your Fabled Beast spirits is destroyed by your opponent, you can select one of your Fabled Beasts and refresh it.
Yeah.
So you effectively make one of your blessed spirits, hippo or eagle, pseudo unblockable, hit their life, and then you swing with a fabled beast, and it's like if they don't block it, you're getting a life. If they block it and they destroy your spirit, you restand your blessed spirit, and then you can attack again.
Essentially makes
with
your
the
whole
unblockable.
board Swordosaurus, right? That's basically what's happening. Like,
Effectively.
yeah. It's the same kind of effect, isn't it? Like if any of your, yeah, I mean, I guess it has to die, but
yeah,
I mean that's easily done in yellow. You can easily decor.
Yeah.
So
there is counterplay. It's probably the X-ray we're going to talk the most about, just because it is the most represented one at this event.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But just to see like how much power it's got. On top of that, it stacks. So if you have 2 Genbu out, one of your spirits dies. Now you can refresh 2 of your fabled beasts.
Yeah.
This card is just insane. So easily top tier.
Yeah. How often did you have more than one on the field, and was it super effective when you did?
It came up. I think in one of the matchups they had 3 life left, no ice shield, and I had 2 Genbus in hand, and I was like, screw it, Genbu, make all 3 of them unblockable, because they can target each other, they can't target themselves. And I was just like, swing, that's game. And they're just like, yeah, I'm dead.
So yeah, this card, guys, is absolutely wild. So.
Was it you, Aaron? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was me who got Genbu'd.
There you go, Aaron took the Genbu. So I'll go second. We need to move quickly. We've got a lot of cards to get through. So I'm going to pick the Tiger. So this card its full name is Sleepless Guardian Frost Tiger. And yeah, so this card's I've tested it a little bit. I was testing white before the tournament this weekend. I'm going to put it in the good tier, to be honest. I think it's a really, really strong card. It's a machine beast that can be put out. I know yellow obviously smashes through white, but this card, if it was to come down, would be a decent counter. Basically what it does is level 1, 2, every time it blocks, it essentially it has a Rocket City effect where it gains 1,000, and it can also block whilst rested any cards that don't have the Soul Core on it. So essentially it's got built-in suppression except for the Soul Core. And it's just a really annoying card to play around early, I think. Like, if you're playing a aggressive strategy, it's just a card that can kind of stem your opponents and make them have to think about playing around it. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't have any armor, so it is susceptible to Dream Bomb. However, when everyone's running for Form Prison in their deck, this card's like unaffected. So I really feel like it's something that can be utilized, and when like it always does, when white control has its time in this meta, I'm sure this card's going to be a very prominent, annoying card to deal with. But I don't think, I don't think it really had much effect at the tournament at the weekend. But yeah, it's definitely a card to look out for, I think. So I'll move on to the next card because I'm trying to be swift. We're going to go for Cthulhu Shark, and I'm going to let Harry decide where this sits.
Yay! Chuck it in top tier straight away. We know how the tier list go. If I'm commenting on it, it's top tier.
I mean,
man, Cthulhu Shark. Aaron grimaces. He grimaces at the Cthulhu Shark top tier.
I mean, honestly, it is my favorite card in the set, and the artwork is amazing. And I pulled it out of my last pack of my booster box, and I was just like, yes.
It's really good, and I think it's quite obviously really good. I mean, I'm surprised that it didn't really get a bit more love for this event, but
yeah, I was as well.
I can see why it didn't, in terms of blue is obviously a new deck, and people would have to test quite a lot in terms of what the best version of blue is compared to, say like Fable Beast Yellow, for example, where it's like, okay, you've got a cracking new boss monster that sits on top of a previously established
Just so you guys know, it's not very splashable because to play it you have to destroy a blue Nexus. That's just one of the things for it.
Yeah.
Which isn't crazy disadvantage, because I mean you can obviously side in Nexuses to play it, but there are some good ones that are generic for blue, like the Seabed Lighthouse, for example. But
yeah, it isn't straightforward, and I think Aaron's point that it is symmetrical, so you will lose your own spirits to it as well.
Yeah,
that is pretty important, pretty relevant. It does make it a bit more comparable to Infernal Bacillus in terms of which one is preferable, but the upsides that come with it are definitely quite notable. You don't have to have, say with Infernal Bacillus, the entire combo assembled to play off in one turn is an expensive thing. And it isn't like the blue Nexuses are bad. A lot of them are very good.
It has a crazy stat line as well, right? It goes up to like 13k or something, I believe.
Yeah, and potentially can bring your Nexuses back on the swing, and
yeah, that's its level 3 effect, right? You get to place a Nexus for free, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
On swing. So you get to play back the Nexus that you destroyed to play it, essentially, which is quite good in reality, because it gives you ammo to play another one.
Exactly. You can even do cute stuff like destroy it with its own effect so that it's engraved to add off Impaler Forest or something like that in the subsequent turn straight away. Like it has a lot of cute stuff to it. I could see it going down to good just in that if it's something that people are aware of and they're playing around it, like people are only committing a couple of spirits to board, then it's not that good. But you can levy the same argument with Infernal Bacillus, and it's just, well, its sheer presence in the meta means that if people are overextending in terms of creatures and not considering Infernal Bacillus, then you're just going to Infernal Bacillus them all up.
Yeah.
And I think Cthulhu Shark can kind of sit in that same category where it's just something that people always need to be aware of, and if they overextend onto the board, then Shark's going to take some heads.
It's going to be Jaws all over again.
Excited to try it.
Yeah, it's if anything, it seems a very fun card. So, Aaron, so you've been talking about how Gale's going to be the big daddy in Liverpool. Where would you put the Huntsman?
Top tier. I don't think this one's close.
There's not even any argument, I believe, in this
it's
one.
Kind of,
even put it above Shark if you want. Just
no. I think it's guilty of a lot of Genbu's sins as well. So it's repeated.
Do you want to just explain what the card does real quick? Because the images are quite small.
Okay,
just in case people don't know.
On level 1, it's a Gale 2. So when it attacks, if it's blocked, they have to exhaust another 2 of their spirits.
And that means when you play it with 1 core, you get the Highlands effect of ramping.
Yeah, so with the Highlands, it becomes a bit...
as opposed to Tokor, guys, Tokor, you have to have 3 cores on it, right, to get the Gale 2 effect, so it's a more efficient way to ramp in that sense.
So with 1 Highlands, it costs 2, essentially, because you pay 3 and put a core on it, and you get 2 back. So it essentially costs 2. With 2 Highlands in play, it costs nothing. So it kind of snowballs out of control, but even like with Highlands, it's ridiculous. Level 2, it has, so when one of your spirits other than those named Black Huntsman, Schattenjäger, reduces life, you can refresh it. Refresh the spirit whenever your opponent uses one of their effects to draw a card. So it's not the draw step, but anything like a Starblast draw, a charge draw, like Dragonaga Assassin.
Yeah, I mean any draw engine. I mean that's a really helpful effect. I think that's similar to.
It's also not restricted on timing, which is the big.
Is that a similar effect to Jagard?
So Jaguar is only in the opponent's attack step.
Oh, okay. This is any time.
Yeah, which is on both turns. It's ever present. But why this card is so good is obviously the Gale draws and whatever. Like, you excuse those. Just the fact that it's an evasive threat that's repeatable.
Yeah.
So the Gale decks are really good at making your opponent create bad boards, basically. And just the fact that you get to break up those boards and get through for damage is kind of why Genbu's so good. it's just a repeatable source of damage that your opponent really struggles to interact with.
Yeah, I guess it's basically you're getting the most out of your resources as well when stuff can restand like that for free. So yeah, very very
Also,
strong card, guys.
The more Gales that get printed, like the 2 cards, like Tokyo will be whatever. The Highlands, the ceiling gets higher, and this Jaeger gets higher.
Yeah.
With however many Gale cards they choose to print.
Yeah, I think Jaeger's a very strong card, and it's definitely probably, I mean, alongside the 10-drop Voidlord, which isn't an X rare but probably should be. Both incredibly powerful cards, but they're obviously hard answered by yellow, which is why everyone was playing yellow. So, but yeah, we better move on. We're running low on time, so I'm just going to grab a random one. This is here we go. This one's for Alex, because you got the easy one. Colosseum Golem.
This goes in meh. That's what I'm saying. This goes in meh.
Oh,
in
not
my
okay.
Opinion.
Oh.
No, it's not okay. It's meh. And the reason why, for those who don't know, level 1, when it attacks, you can exhaust the Nexus to play a Golem token, which is a 0 play cost, 10,000 BP spirit at level 1.
Well, that's kind of cool.
It's kind of cool, and then you realize Floodstream's a card, and that destroys any number of spirits. Play cost totals up to 5, so it can kill every single Golem token you have if you have multiple. Also, we just saw Fabled Beast topping, and because Golem tokens can only get to level 1, they can't block Jewel Eagle. So, although they are vanillas, if they Genbu a Jewel Eagle, you can't block with your Golems. Because they're level 1. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's also just a very costly card. The second effect ramps it, which is nice.
Do you think it will ever have a time in the sun because of Floodstream, or do you think token play is dead on arrival at this point?
I think at this point the card, like in this meta, I don't think it's playable. Like maybe it's got some legs against red somehow, just because 10,000's pretty big. But then they're going to be destroying your Nexuses, so it's going to be harder to get those effects off. But it's possible in the future if we get some more token support, or if Floodstream wasn't a card, this could see some play. But for now,
that's all we need to talk about that card really. So right down in the bottom. I'm going to do the next one. I'm going to do Mandala because I am a little bit familiar with this card. So amazing card. Incredibly strong. I don't think it's Mill's the right strategy at the moment. There's it's not, Crush isn't going to be the way forward, but just the ability to mill, I think it's 14 cards on play. That's outrageous.
Well,
yeah, I mean, it's just outrageous. And I'm sure you have to use a Soul Core, so you can only do it once. But I'm sure that this card at some point is going to be utilized, and it's going to be unstoppable. There has to be a. I think Cosmic was playing Mill at the tournament, and he said he milled out a lot of players. So it's definitely not impossible to do. With more support, I think, and more time, Mill could really be something that stifles a lot of people's strategies. But no, I think at the moment the draw engines aren't too crazy unless you're playing purple in this game. Maybe yellow if you really go out of control with it. So in general, you're not going to be milling yourself out and then getting caught out by this, unless you're going really long with games. But no, I've seen a few decks of it. Shout out to Enoch, he had a really fun deck, which was basically like Blazing Boar, lots of funny interactions, make you play for almost an hour and then just mill you out at the end, 2 turns in a row. And I mean, it worked. It was really good. So yeah, I think this deck, this card's definitely good. It could become top tier. Maybe it won't. But I think it's got real good potential. You know, milling 14 cards is dumb, just in any card game. People, just for context, people in Dragon Ball complain about a leader that mills 2 on swing. So they, you know, compared to that, this card is insane. But yeah, so we'll go on to the next card. Harry, do you have any in particular that you would like to talk about that haven't been picked already?
Yes, I will take the Snow-Capped Peak Goddess, please. Our beautiful 9-drop.
Oh yeah, this card is wild.
Oh.
Let's
No,
this
I want
one. Oh, did you?
where are you putting it,
I'll
Harry?
need your help with it. I think we'll put it in okay for now, but it could go down to meh just because it is a 9-drop and it's not really archetypally involved with anything. I do love it though. Like that last effect is so cool. Just at the start of the step on its level 3, during opponent's end step, bounce all their exhausted spirits. So it is just something where, like, I think now it will catch people out, and obviously it is super expensive and a deck that already suffers from being too clunky and too expensive, and it's like white didn't really need any help in terms of the top end, but this is very cool. This is one to keep an eye on, I think, because if it comes down, the opponent's gonna look at that and be like, oh damn, like, and it's got armor white, so it can't be bounced, thankfully, when it is on that level 3.
If you got her in a dragon ship down, you're looking pretty good, really.
But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think it's more meh because of its insane cost and lack of archetypal synergy, or?
I really like the effect where it forces your opponent to target certain cards. Is it anything with the Soul Core? You have to force target that.
The easy thing is you just put the Soul Core on the Enterprise, and you have this sort of like really well protected board.
Yeah.
My other way to look at it is, I'd love to put this in something like purple or like a sacrifice, like a Nemesis deck, just because you can basically move your Soul Core to something you want to blow up. Like you could have an Agla Veil, for example. And it's like, okay, my Soul Core's here. If you want to do anything, it's this spirit and this spirit only. I think in a control deck, it's not, it's not the one for a control deck. The thing I like most about this card is it's probably going to see play in some sort of white mid-rangey aggressive deck. Maybe not aggressive, but like something that doesn't care about having a big threat and staying behind it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely got interesting interactions involved, and I think that's what the game lacks, obviously being in its infancy. But the more we get through, the more cool cards like this we get. I think it's just going to make the game really dynamic. So yeah, which card next, Aaron? Or do you want me to pick for you?
You pick for me.
All right. How about the Ancient Trident Dragon?
That's a good one.
Where would you put that, Aaron? And then you can debate it with Harry, that's already said it's good. Would you say it's a good card, or would you say it's okay?
I think it's okay. I think it's.
All right, discuss.
So level 1, it has Flash. It's Flash Awaken, and then level 2/3, it's at the start of your attack step. Place 2 cores from the trash that are not a Soul Core onto the spirit for every Ruby Sanctuary you control. Okay. And then level 3, it's like it's a teeny tiny Nova. So it's like select any number of your opponent's spirits with a combined total of 6,000 or fewer BP and destroy them.
Just so if you didn't know, guys, there is a theme with all the Guardian cards. Each Guardian has a Nexus. I didn't mention it on the Tiger, but the Tiger makes stuff unblockable under level 5, I think. But yeah, each of the Guardians have a nice effect with one of the 2-cost Nexuses. Some of them are better than others, but yeah, I think the red one's actually pretty decent, if I'm not mistaken.
I think the mileage of how good this card is more how good is the red Sanctuary more than how good that card is.
Yeah, I mean,
like blowing up your opponent's board is great. The problem is if you're having to put 4 Ruby Sanctuaries in your deck, in a deck that's already, quite hungry for Nexuses in terms of Scorched Battlefield and Volcanic Canyon. Like the 0-drop doesn't really see play in Nova, and that's like a Lotus Petal.
Yeah.
Whereas this is kind of like a lotus petal, but you can't really interact with it, so it's even stronger. But it's a terrible top deck, those sanctuaries.
Fair enough.
So this one is probably an okay. I think it if it was a star dragon, then we'd be talking.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that it's an ancient dragon probably just pushes it a bit too far away.
No, that's fair enough. Harry, what do you think about this card? You see potential in it?
Yeah, no, I think that's probably a fair assessment of it. It's like kind of borderline between good and okay, I guess. Like swinging and popping something with 6k is pretty good. You do have a comparable card in Dragno King, which does it as a when summoned. It's probably better to do it on the swing and avoid the when summons, just in a general metagaming sense. But yeah, I think Aaron's assessment is correct in terms of the impact of some of these cards are diminished by the low impact of the Sanctuary cards, and you can get the Sanctuary stuff being pretty good in some contexts. Like I think in White, I wouldn't say that it's like super playable, but it is kind of fringe playable because you've got the 3-drop where when it dies, you look at the top 5 and play one. It's like, it isn't the worst in White, whereas in Red, yeah, there's amazing Nexuses already. There's such high competition. Like you'd probably sooner run Victory Oath and stuff like that if you were really sweating for more draw somehow, but you're really not in Red. So yeah, it's a solid card. It might get like a bit of play. Like you can ascend Nova over it, which makes it kind of playable sometimes. But yeah, otherwise, I think okay is a reasonable placement for it.
All right, so we have 6 more cards, probably less popular ones. So we're going to try and rush through these ones so we finish on time. I'm going to just give Alex Blaze Lion. Where would you put this card?
Blaze Lion. Well, if Trident Dragon is in okay, then this has to go into meh, I would say, which is a shame. But if Trident Dragon isn't good, which is where I would have put it, just because I do think Ruby Sanctuary is the best Sanctuary because it draws you cards, which is obviously good. And we actually play tested the Trident Dragon quite a lot, and it was pretty good, especially into yellow. But yeah, I'd probably put this in meh. There was one deck at the Grand Open playing this Blaze Lion Colmane. For those who don't know, its second effect, at the end of your turn, you draw until you have 3 cards in your hand.
Yeah,
so I think
aggro low to the ground, play as many cards as you can to redraw kind of deck, which is
it's possible. It's possible it goes in cheeky. You just play a load of spirits that have like the same reduction as their cost, so they're basically free.
Yeah.
And you just dump 3 spirits onto the board every turn, and then draw until you have 3 cards in your hand.
Yeah, I mean it's a nice concept for sure.
And it also gets huge because when it attacks, it gets 2,000 BP for each spirit you control. So if you've got like even just 3 spirits at level 2, say that's 14,000. That's just like
I mean
massive.
That's definitely a cheeky thing to keep an eye on. I think we can definitely put that in cheeky and potentially some nice aggro strategies using that. So
it's an Emperor Beast as well.
Yeah, which definitely that's a cool thing. But would you play it over Gigano?
It's possible.
Yeah,
there's definitely some cheeky things you can do with it, trying to use it as a draw engine. And if you have like Canyon and Tokiwa as well in the list, you can basically be going up to 4 or 5 each turn. Just by like you draw for turn. You got the 3 at the end of the turn. You draw for turn. You Tokiwa at the end of their turn. Like you just always have cards, which is always good. But
yeah, I mean it's definitely something to think about. Tokiwa with this could be really interesting as well because you got the Gale free, like really high pressure. So I'm gonna do this one. This Viper, I really quite like it. I can't really stick it above Trident Dragon though. I don't think, to be quite honest. So I'm just gonna leave it in okay. I haven't.
Why don't we just move Trident Dragon to good so that we can?
I think we can just pop this up and then.
He's a cheeky boy.
Yeah.
All my okay people comment if you agree.
I just want to say before you go further, this card did get top 8 at the last Grand Open.
With this,
I think it's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think it could definitely be placed in good. I haven't tested it enough myself, but it essentially allows you to attack cards that are rested, exhausted, which is a really powerful effect, and the card has curse as well. So, yeah, no, super strong. I think purple probably will have its time. If red comes back around to take down all the yellow cards, then purple will come back around to take down all the red cards, and the cycle will continue. So I'm sure this card can be seen in play, and it's a 6-cost free reduction card, which I know purple's normally quite expensive, but that's, it's fairly reasonable, I think, for the effects on the card. So definitely one to look out for. What about for Harry? What about the other purple?
I need to read what she does. Okay, she's a Nightlig, she's cast. When destroyed, select 2 of your opponent's spirits, remove a core.
I picked you for this because this is kind of one that works with kind of the style you like to play, actually, because it plays stuff from the trash.
It does, but what does Amethyst Sanctuary do? Does it do anything good?
That's
makes your purple spells cost 1 less.
Ooh, charming.
When one of your spirits is destroyed in the attack step, you can scry one. Basically, look at the top card of your deck and either discard it or keep it on top.
Okay. I think I'll still put it in meh, to be honest. Like as much as I'd love to give purple a bit more glow up, like I think it speaks to the 2 X-rares for purple, kind of the difference between them, in that the 6-drop Serpent guy maybe looks a bit okay on its own, but it's in a really good deck. Like a lot of purple's best stuff were Serpents anyway, things like Black Lance, Dragonaga Assassin, Python, wink wink, and Swords and Dragonaga. Aaron rolling his eyes. And now with this, like there's also the 2-drop Serpent thing in the new set that's really good. It's got curse when it dies. If you control another Serpent, draw 1. You've got Costume Dresser, so the deck that the 6-drop is in is just really good, and the card's okay. Whereas with the 7-drop, it just doesn't really seem to do a whole lot. I don't think. Like it's okay, but
definitely
I don't know
of a miss
when you're running it. Yeah.
So moving on to the next Guardian, Aaron, the yellow Guardian, the Empress. What do you think of the Red Queen?
I wanted the green one.
Sorry.
That's
I mean, what do you think of the Forest Guardian?
Oh, it's like I wanted to talk about it. I think this card's good.
Ooh, okay.
Maybe even top tier, quietly.
Ooh, wow, that's a controversial take. So, you've got a minute to explain why.
Yeah, so it's the one that I think it fixes your bad matchups more than the others.
Just so you know, it's worded badly, so it only ramps onto 1 sanctuary. So if you've got more than 1 sanctuary, it doesn't ramp onto all of them. It's just the 1.
But I'm more interested in its level 2 or 3. So it's when it attacks or blocks, select 2 of my opponent's spirits that cost 3 or fewer, or 1 of my opponent's that cost 6 or fewer, and exhaust them. So for me, this is really nice board control, because it allows me to set up boards that I can swing back on, or I cannot die from. So, for example, if we're playing like the Genbu matchup, if they swing with their Hippocampo, then they, you just sort of interrupt them. And I really like that you have the flexibility of choosing one or the other. I think if it was only one of the effects, the card's really bad. But the fact that it's so diverse for whatever situation you're in, and it's also just it's a DIY Gale. So people usually say, like, the annoying part about Gale is that they get to choose, right?
Yeah.
But this is, you get to choose.
Yeah,
which
so
means
it's kind of like a needle shot built into a spirit.
Yeah, and it makes your actual Gales so much more powerful. Because say if they had something like an elephant,
Yeah, I mean, being able to target specific, it's very
yeah.
very
So
powerful,
you sort of you sort of get the small things down, maybe like a Pegasion. You know, Pegasion is one of the big culprits, or maybe like in the curse deck, you might have something, or I think Turbo Rex costs 6, right?
Yeah. Okay,
So
so
like,
we got
there's
two more Guardians to get through, so let's just get through them now. Alex, what about the blue Guardian? What do you think of this? Is she a Guardian,
it's
the
okay.
princess?
It goes in the okay. I think if you're playing blue, you're playing Nexuses. It's nice to get a body and a Nexus down at the same time.
Yeah, that's good. So is that what it does when summoned? It places a Nexus for free.
When summoned, you can play a Nexus for free, and I know some blue decks are playing the red. Is it red Nexus from the lore set that makes both players draw 2 cards?
Oh yeah.
So you sort of play the red Nexus for free. Both players draw 2 cards, which blue does struggle with draw.
Helps
and
towards the mill strategy if you're going for milling as well, obviously.
It helps towards mill. It helps you draw, which blue sort of lacks. It's hard to find the space for this deck. For this card, sorry.
Yeah, no, for sure.
The blue's got a lot of other cards that actually help you with your mill strategy. This is just efficient for what it does. If you're in a tempo meta, I think it's good. If you're trying to mill them out in a more control-y way, and you don't need that tempo necessarily, I don't see how you find space for it.
Okay.
This card has big ceiling written all over it.
Yeah, for sure.
Imagine like Netherworld Depths. Remember that card, everyone? Imagine if you strong draw on turn 1, you take 1, and then turn 2 you play this. Get back your depths.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely good potential with it.
It plays it from hand, Aaron. So you need the. Yeah. It's still good.
So you don't have to strong draw.
Yeah.
You can just charge draw.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely got potential, and I'm looking forward to seeing like interesting cards like this be played. Final one, the Red Queen. Then, anyone want to talk about the Red Queen? Anyone that's tested this card?
Play Wonderland Alice.
All right, we'll just put it straight into meh. She can't be compared to Alice, really.
I mean, it's a 6 cost Otherlander. Unfortunately, it competes for Alice, and there are not. I don't think there's enough. You know, there's the Joker and then there's Charles.
Yeah.
I think they're the Otherlanders that matter.
Yeah, that's true. Interaction wise,
at
those cards are crazy. Just... So, but yeah, that actually pretty much does it for the full list of cards, guys. So, what, in conclusion, do you think this is correct, or do you think things can be moved around before we finish up? I think it looks pretty correct, really. I mean, maybe I underrated the Serpent a bit because I haven't tested it enough. But what do you guys think?
The only card I disagree with, for the most part, is Mandala. I'm pretty sure that should be in top tier. Yeah. Any blue strategy has to play Mandala. It's kind of mandatory. Even at just 1 or 2 copies as a game finisher. Mill 12 when summoned, Mill 6 when attack. This card's going to be around for a very long time, and it's going to be present in all sorts of blue mill decks and just control piles.
I mean, I absolutely do agree with you that it's a top tier card. I just think it hasn't been worked out properly yet, like I was saying before. But I think it definitely, I mean, I'm happy to boost it up. It's got to be a menace, I think.
I think the way you look at this card is you value the amount of cards it costs for a life. So, for example, in Magic, you start at 20 life, and your deck is a minimum of 60 cards. So when you're milling stuff, around 3 cards is 1 point of life. Okay?
That's fair, yeah.
That's like the base rate. When you look at this card, so it's doing 12. It can do 12, so it's basically like an unblockable on hit.
Yeah, essentially.
When summoned, that scales up. So let's have a look. Let me just check the level of it again.
It's 4 cores on level 2, right?
Yeah, so if you get 2 attacks out of this, and like you have a full when summon, like that's 24 cards. which is like 2.5. Like in Magic, if there was a card that hit your opponent for 10,
I mean, it's crazy
like,
numbers, right? That's half of most people's decks. So that could, if you can regain this thing and get another swing in, then that's wild, you know.
Like, would you play a spirit that if it connects deal 2, like if it was unblockable, like say if Arcane the Joker played 2, had 2 symbols on it, would you play it? I think obviously you do.
Well, I mean, definitely. I'm not looking forward to some crazy mill strategies, honestly, because mill's a very toxic way to play, I feel like. But I mean, each their own. I'm sure it will probably attract more players to the game. So if we can get some good mill strategies going, guys, get creative. Tell us what you think in the comments, guys, as well. If you think our list is correct or not, like maybe we're missing something on some of these cards, but yeah, no. Any final thoughts? I think that looks pretty good now at this point.
Thanks to our lovely guests for joining.
Yeah.
And,
I meant on the list.
Another top 8, another excellent top 8. He also got top 8 in Glasgow as well. So definitely one of the UK's big come ups. Aaron, you need to pull your socks up a bit, lad. If you're going to use my stepchildren, you've got to use them well.
Yeah.
Just don't talk about my results. Don't talk about my results.
All I will say,
you're a nice guy.
The last time there was a European online battle, I won it. I beat 85 million other summoners live on.
They actually cancelled online battles because he beat everyone so badly. But that's for another time. That's for another time. But yeah, no, we're gonna have to finish up today. This has been a really quite a long podcast, so we're gonna have to shut it off here. So yeah, thanks again, Aaron and Alex, for stepping in and giving us your lowdown on your tournaments. And if you got any quick shout outs before we finish. Not every player in the format like Aaron just tried to do.
Yeah.
Ideally.
Shout out to Aaron for the Dual Eagles. Shout out to Frankie. Had a chat with him at the Pro Tour, and he was like, "Yeah, yellow's good into green." So kind of got the ball rolling for that. Shout out to my brother for testing every day after work. Pretty fun. And yeah, shout out to you guys for having us on. It's been great.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, man. And yeah, thanks for coming along. What about you, Aaron? You got one more shout out?
My mum, my dad. I'm the best.
Do they watch the podcast? Do they?
My mum did say send the link, so I bet she can't wait to hear all about the X-rays. We'll see later.
Hi, Mrs. Aaron.
Hello, Mrs. Aaron.
We're looking after your son. Don't worry.
She's miss.
Miss.
Oh, miss.
Go get her.
Hey.
That's for another time when we get Aaron's mum on the podcast. Just email us.
Oh, I'm already a disappointment to the community as is because I didn't play yellow. My name's the Hippocamper.
But yeah, thanks again, Aaron and Alex, and obviously thank you, lovely Harry. Me and Harry, to be fair, we've been decompressing this week. We've been having a bit of time off of Battle Spirits, but it's time to get on the grind and get ready for Liverpool for fun times. So yeah, see you next week, guys, where we will have Emmy and Kieran back, and we'll be talking about... Actually, I'm not sure what we're going to talk about, so we'll decide that in the week. But thank you for watching, and yeah, like and subscribe, guys. We're almost at 100, so thank you very much. Bye.
Comment and they'll keep me here forever.
Yeah, just tell us if you want Aaron again, and we'll consider it. Laters, guys.